Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. And today I'm going to be discussing, is the GameSir G7 Pro worth it? Because yes, I've done quite a few videos now discussing, showcasing the GameSir G7 Pro, but I haven't told you guys if it is fully worth it, and even showcased any gameplay to prove why I think it might be worth getting the GameSir G7 Pro. So what you're seeing here is, first of all, a 3-minute clip of a gameplay. You're probably thinking, Taz, how is a 3-minute clip going to convince me that the GameSir G7 Pro is good? Well, this gameplay is absolutely unbelievable. I will say that this is kind of a bot lobby as well. Well, I say kind of. It is pretty much a bot lobby. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to pretend this isn't the most bottiest lobby in the world. These people are noobs. But you're going to see by the shots and the way I play the game now compared to the way I played the game before, before having the GameSir G7 Pro, it is a night and day difference how much this is elevated by gameplay. I kind of want to discuss what makes this controller good and what sets it apart, and kind of tell you guys why you should get it yourself, especially those who are on the fence, maybe thinking of waiting for the wireless version and still debating in their minds whether they should get the GameSir G7 Pro when the wireless edition comes out, etc. Because right now you can only get the wired edition if you can get them, I believe. Like, I know Amazon, maybe Best Buy, stuff like that, they have them available now, but through GameSir themselves, you can't pick them up at the moment. They seem to be going through the backlog of pre-orders, which I do think they've started to get there now. I believe, like, everyone or most people now should have their GameSir G7 Pro. If not, let me know down below, and we'll see. And, you know, I want to see what's going on with that. But from my understanding, a lot of people seem to have received or have gotten their GameSir G7 Pros. But why does this controller set itself apart from the rest? Well, like I said, this gameplay here is absolutely ridiculous. The way I can move around the map, the way I can just take any sort of shots I want, and I mean any. Before, you used to be able to, you know, you'd have to sit there and use an SMG like an SMG, use an assault rifle like an assault rifle, right? But with the GameSir G7 Pro, I am playing the game in such a, like, flawless state. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to talk about like I'm a pro player or anything, okay? I am not at Scumps level or Shotzi's or anything like that because of one controller. But I do feel like I have elevated my game using this controller. Like, I have never used a controller that has felt so different to every other controller. And I do believe the biggest benefit is the TMR sticks. Like, I can't speak highly enough about them. So as you guys see there, this was like a 2-minute nuke. And all I did, I flawlessly moved around the map, flawlessly aimed here and there. I even pick up someone else's AK, and I'm just not missing, you know? I'm missing here and there a little bit, but it's not a lot. I am hitting shots that I shouldn't be. So that's the gameplay to kind of prove it. Let's cut to the next gameplay, where I'm going to talk more about the GameSir G7 Pro and everything that's good about the GameSir G7 Pro. Right, so here's the second gameplay, guys. Showcasing, again, this is gameplay with the use of the GameSir G7 Pro. I know some of you probably might have been looking for like a hand cam whilst I'm doing this. Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of setup to do that. But just trust me when I'm saying I am using the GameSir G7 Pro. I'm also not paid to say this, by the way. I am going out on my own way to tell you guys about this controller. Because like I said, on this channel, I've done everything that comes to like settings, tips and tricks to try and help you guys elevate your games and make you guys as good at Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever it may be. Unfortunately, I haven't actually had a chance to really play Battlefield. I played like 2 hours, so don't have Battlefield gameplay. But just know when Battlefield releases, I will be pre-ordering. In the 2 to 3 hours that I played, I did enjoy the game, and I will do, obviously, videos with the GameSir G7 Pro and settings for Battlefield. So expect that coming in the future. Of course, we've also got the new Delta Force that has come out just today. So I am currently installing that as I've been making this video. So bear with me. I will be making settings for that too. But you guys know that I try and help you guys out as best as I can with any sort of settings, tips and tricks, controller guides, you name it. And I fully believe this is the best pound for pound controller on the market for the price point, for what it can offer, and for how much it will improve your gameplay. Like, I guarantee no matter what you do, this controller will improve your gameplay as long as you set it up correctly. I think the power of this controller not only belongs in the TMR sticks that it has and the hair trigger stuff and that. Don't get me wrong, some controllers have hair triggers and stuff, you know, back paddles and all that sort of stuff. Those sort of things aren't that incredible nowadays. You know, I think it's pretty standard for a pro controller to have 4 paddles wherever they may be placed, having some sort of hair trigger option, etc. There's nothing too crazy with that. But the TMR sticks on this thing are sticks that I do genuinely believe are so different and so precise compared to every other controller on the market that you need to have them to sort of understand what I'm talking about here. And then on top of that, the GameSir Nexus app. So what is the GameSir Nexus app if you've never like used GameSir controllers or just are looking to get one and you don't understand what it is? It's basically the equivalent of an app that can fine-tune the controller. Think of like the Elite Series 2 controller. You have the Xbox app and you can go in and you can change the way the sticks work and what do you call it? Like, for instance, you could change it to true calculation and etc. Think of that, but with the GameSir Nexus app. You can do the same thing, but it's to such a scale that you can be so unbelievably precise with how you want the controller to behave that you can actually change the controller itself, not in-game, right? So we're not talking about Black Ops 6 itself, where you can obviously change to dynamic and change the dead zones, etc. No, you can do that with the controller itself. Now, I know there's probably other controllers out there that can do the same, but I believe the precision and the ability to change stuff in the GameSir Nexus app is also what sets this controller so far apart, because you can make it to the point where maybe you can't shoot that well, right? Maybe you're not as accurate as you think, you know, you want to be, but you can fine-tune the app to your controller to make your controller so unbelievably precise to your needs. It's unreal that you can go from the average person who has a 1 KD to like a 2 KD because of this controller alone. And I know I'm gassing it and I'm talking it through the roof. It's an £80, £79. I don't know how much it costs, to be honest. It's around £80. It's not a lot for a controller of this level, right? This is what, 30 pounds more than a regular controller. And what you get compared to a standard controller, the ability that this gives you, the changes that this can do to your game, is unbelievable. Like I said, this is why I'm showing you guys this gameplay. There are shots in this that you're going to probably think, well, I didn't hit those, or maybe you could even compare to my gameplays from previous on this channel that I wasn't hitting the shots that I was hitting before with this controller. And it's only going to get better over time. Like, I'm still going to be fine-tuning. I'm still going to be looking for ways to improve my game with this controller. And that's the beauty of this controller, is I can change it any time. I can change the dead zones. I can increase them, decrease them. I can change the controller to behave like dynamic. I can fine adjust the controller in so many ways. I can improve. I can make different profiles as well. Obviously, that's not anything different. You know, you can make different profiles. I could even maybe make a setting that will work for Battlefield, make a setting that will work specifically for Call of Duty. And again, change the dead zones. I can make the sticks behave like dynamic in Call of Duty. It's unbelievable, and I'm going to talk it into, like, how, I don't know how to, like, talk it further to you guys and sort of almost sell you the controller, right? And again, I'm not paid, I'm not sponsored, I'm just here to help you guys. There is nothing I gain from this other than the fact that maybe some of you might view this video. Cool, I might get a bit of YouTube ad revenue. But I'm not doing it for that reason. I genuinely believe, hand on heart, this is the greatest controller that is out there right now. And this is on Xbox, by the way. So I don't know if there's a way, like, to get this to work on PlayStation. Maybe, you know, some sort of connector or something. I know there's no specific PlayStation controller, unfortunately. But the GameSir G7 Pro is unbelievable. And like I said, the TMR sticks are something to absolutely be amazed at. And not only that, I'm on Xbox, by the way. I'm on an Xbox Series X. I want to talk about that more as well. Because you can have a 1000 hertz polling rate. I'm playing with 250. I'm playing with 1/4 of the power this controller can do. If you're a PC player. So if you're on PC, you've got even more of a reason to want to get this controller and use it, because you can get a 1000 hertz polling rate. You can't on console. You cannot do it. It will not do it. So you will get less input delay, far less input delay than I am getting with this controller. And the input delay that's supposed to be there because if it's on 250 hertz is just near enough non-existent. Like, I've comparing this to the Elite Series 2, right? That's the best thing I compare this to, with the amount of hours I put into the Elite Series 2. You guys have seen over the last 4 or 5 years that I've used the Elite Series 2, put out guides, spoken about the Elite Series 2 for every single game, and you guys have liked those settings and controller settings for the Elite Series 2. This controller blows the Elite Series 2 out of the water. The Elite Series 2 is outdated to compare to this controller. I'm not joking. What the Elite Series 2 can offer through, yes, customizability and having, you know, changeable paddles and stuff like that, that's cool and all, but what this controller can do is so greatly and unbelievably better, it's ridiculous. And you guys are seeing that. Like, that's why I'm showcasing to you 2 different gameplays. You know, one of a 2-minute nuke. I mean, let's talk about that, right? A 2-minute nuke. Yeah, okay, I was against some bot players, and you can do that against bot-like players, right? But the ability to just be able to, it's not just the aiming, it's the way the controller feels responsive. That's what I want to talk about as well. It just feels responsive. The mouse click buttons, the mouse click triggers, everything feels so responsive. And again, I'm playing at 250 hertz polling rate. It's supposed to, it can go up to 1000 hertz polling. I wouldn't even want to know how unbelievably broken this must be on PC. I'd say, I'd go out and say, you know, I'd go out on a limb and say, this controller is unbelievably overpowered. And you should get it, right? Hands down, this is the best controller on the market. So guys, do yourself a favor. If you want to get better at Call of Duty, Battlefield, you name it, any sort of shooting game out there, maybe even like FIFA or so, I don't know, get this controller and thank me later. It is unbelievable. And if you guys want to find settings for this, by the way, I do have a link, I do have a video on my channel of some settings that will help you with the GameSir G7 Pro. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, that in case you're on. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.